horror. The horror. We're talking Heart of Darkness. Yeah, it's ironic. I think this is just one of the hugest ironies. I didn't see it before, which is crazy. But we are back in Asia again. We are here we are in the Heart of Darkness in Vietnam. That's the brewery name, by the way. And yeah, if you know your Conrad, is it Justin Conrad? I think it is. Who wrote The Heart of Darkness, and then they remade it into a film that you probably have heard of called Apocalypse Now, which is all about, you know, going into Vietnam. So a Vietnam brewery taking on the monarchy, Heart of Darkness, the moniker even taking on the monarchy. Well, maybe you could say that they did in a weird way. But yeah, this is the beer I'm doing today. Obviously, Heart of Darkness Brewery, and it's called Black Shadows. It's an Espresso Martini Stout. Look at that. That's some weird, dark jungle. It's almost like going up the Mekong from Ho Chi Minh, where all the Ho's live. $10, cheap. Tout beaucoup. That's what they say to me. 6.5% on the ABV, which is pretty damn good. And it says, pours as a decadent cascade of rich dark chocolate unfurling beneath a creamy tan foam, carrying the heady aroma of coffee cream liqueur, toasted hazelnuts and warm waffles. Each sip envelops, Jesus, this is hard to read, the palate in velvety sweetness, leaving behind gentle and silky embrace that lingers on the tongue. Oh my God, all sorts of weird stuff. And this has been in the fridge. I don't usually put the dark beers in the fridge, but this one was very taut when I did my pressure test. So I'm worried about getting dark beer on my trousers because I'm still in summer mode trouser wise. So I don't want it to spill on my trousers. Yeah, you can see, well, you can't see my trousers, but you can see I'm wearing a light coloured top. And my trousers are like, what are those things? Chinos. That's not a racial slur. It's a type of kind of docker pants, I think they're called. Anyway, who knows, dear viewer, who knows? I'm trying to educate you. So Heart of Darkness, I think, is pretty apt for a Vietnamese beer. Yeah, look at that bad boy. Wow. So, gonna be one of those head monsters. Let's see who actually did make this, because I'm not convinced this was actually made in Vietnam. But we're gonna do one of these while we're here. Get the finger out of the way. And then, because it's a head, I'm gonna stare at it like a lunatic, because that is a lunatic head, as in chasing the moon. Right, let's have a look. Heart of Darkness, Vietnam. Brewed and canned, there we go. Brewed and canned by Full Circle Brewing, who are up in Scotland, I think, Edinburgh, maybe. Come on, dude. Focus. There we go. Oh no, Newcastle. In fact, I thought Full Circle had kind of fell by the wayside. Must be wrong. Anywho, let's see what this thing's got. Jesus Christ, look at that. Look at that. It looks like Swiss cheese. That head. You can tell that head is not going to hang around for very long, but you know, it's a fistful of dollar. Cheap, $10. Fistful of dollar. Okay, so looking at the Beer 52 website for the malts now. The hops apparently are Columbus, so it's a single hop beer, but we've got oats in there. We've got caramel malt, We've got Crystal 400. What? We've got chocolate wheat malt. We've got some Munich malt, so that's kind of where the wheaty bit comes in. So chocolate wheat and Munich, and we've also got a bit of pale malt in there as well. Weirdly, even for beers like this, which appears totally black, although I can tell you, dear viewer, there is the merest hint of brown, so it's not fully black. But even these really dark beers have pale ale malt in them, which is nuts. And sometimes up to like 80–90% pale malt. And then because they're using ludicrous 900 and 400 is it Lavabond malts, like just nuts malts basically, they get dark pretty damn quick. It's nuts. It smells sweet. Doesn't say it has lacto, but it smells sweet. Getting the coffee as well. Definitely getting a kind of caramelly type thing as well. Wow. So this is dark, sweet, bad boy at 6.5 or 6.4% beer, ABV even beer. These are the kind of beers that I do actually really, really like. Not quite an Imperial, but pretty damn strong. My favourite at the moment, because it's freely available in the UK, is the Vocation. Loving the Vocation, but they're naughty and nice chocolate beer. That's 6.5. You can get that at Asda. You can get it at Morrison's as well, I believe. You get a slightly different one at Tesco's. Not sure if Sainsbury's does one, but absolutely ridiculous beer, 6.5%. Very similar to this beer. And a big shout out, he won't be watching these videos, he says he never watches them, is my other pub, my other local, which is called Mind the Gap. My friend Glenn runs that pub, and he said he's getting the is it the 8.5 or 10.5? Let's go with 10.5. He's getting that beer at the pub, so you can buy a pint of 10.5% crazy stout from Vocation, which is mighty nice. Better start drinking this bad boy, eh? But yeah, I knew this was going to have a problem with the head. There we go. The can is like crazy. Black Shadows, Espresso Martini. I even like Espresso Martini. Cheers and beers. I always eat the coffee bean. Is that what you do? Down below in the comments. Do you chew on the bean? That's what I want to know. Oh, dark. Quite a lot of bitterness up front, but then that smoothness comes in. The sweetness, leftover sweetness, or lacto, not 100% sure which, just takes away that astringency, but it's there. Dark coffee grounds, that real gnarly kind of stuff. Interestingly though, I mean, it did say it had quite a lot of oats in, but it's not as creamy, weirdly, as some of the IPAs, the hazy IPAs that I've had lately. So they probably got more, more oats in them. And I heard that the other beer from the Heart of Darkness in the beer box, if you went not for the dark beer, but if you went for the light beer box, there was a different beer in there, and it was a lighter beer, and I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, Heart of Darkness, hazy IPA, probably same as this, but without those really strong ones. I wouldn't be surprised, dear viewer. Check your beer box if you're joining along at home. If you've got that beer, let me know down in the comments. Was it brewed at Full Circle, number one, and has it got a shed load of oats in it? coffee, that bitter astringency you get with those really dark malts. Really astringent. Then it goes into the kind of bitter dark chocolate, that 98% gnarly chocolate that perhaps your girlfriend buys and eats, but I don't know. I hate that stuff. I really don't. But I like it in a beer. How weird's that? Yeah, I can't do that. I shouldn't really be drinking or eating chocolate either, being a diabetic. But I probably shouldn't be drinking beers either. And you know, I'd rather give up chocolate than give up beer. So, hey, you got to balance things out in life, don't you? Wow, look at that. I thought I'd drunk everything, and of course, there's a little bit left. I'll tell you what, that bitterness and that sourness is kind of like chewing on the bean on your espresso martini. Um, I love chewing on the bean. Let's just say that. Nice, crazy lacing. That looks kind of like a dolphin jumping out of the sea. And there's a sort of seagull floating away, and the sea is there at the bottom of the foam. Ooh, and there's a sort of that's a swan swimming across. Can you see him? His neck's over here, and his other bits down there. It's fun doing some foam watch. That looks like a guitar there. Wow, over here, sort of guitar thing. This foam watch is pretty cool. Now, because I expect a huge amount of head to be formed, I'm not going to finish that on the camera. So that was about a half a can with another half a head. But there it is, Heart of Darkness, and that's Black Shadows Espresso Martini Stout. Mamma mia! This has been Unclejona, crazy as a frog, and I'll be back with another beer review, hopefully slightly more normal, and that's going to come up real soon.